Well, good morning or afternoon, whatever it is when you see this movie. Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm George Lawfrey. This is a place to find out what my opinion really is about movies. Right now, I am planning to change what this thing has done as soon as I get caught up on movies, so I'm not doing movie reviews all the time because it doesn't seem to get any interest. So like I said, I'm going to try to do all these movies that I've got currently, and maybe a few that I get first, but I'm going to change this thing. Was going to change it to a men's channel right before YouTube decided to pick on me and threaten to take this thing down. But we'll go ahead and continue with all the movies. Probably won't be more than 10 minutes long once you get into the movie, but we'll get them all knocked out and then uploaded. It's too bad that you can't see these movies. And 2002 when I'm recording them, you have to see them in 2002-3 on YouTube, but you know, that's the price of fame. YouTube decided they wanted to play politics with me, so we're playing politics. Anyway, so, and I'm going to put a couple of the first movies, well, I should have put a couple of the first movies up on Premiere, at least the first 3 or 4, so that you know they're there. They're just not going to show until 2002-3. I guess that'll build the anticipation. Anyway, so we're talking about First Blood, a Rambo movie. Yeah, Rambo movie. This one came out in 1992. Action film. Yeah, they did a lot of destruction in there. Sylvester Stallone was the actor and the writer. John Rambo was his name in the movie. So basically how this movie went, or goes, is that he's a Vietnam War veteran from, well, I think World War One. Then he was coming home and he got spit on at the airport and all that stuff, so he's not real happy about where he's at. So he goes on a walk, which you'd think he's homeless, but he's not really homeless. He's just out walking. The United States traveling around by foot, which is perfectly legal. It's just not a lot of people do it. And they didn't do it in 1982 when this movie came out either. But it makes for an interesting start to the movie. So anyway, he walks through this town with a weird sheriff. He tries to give Rambo a ride through town, and then Rambo asks in the car for some place to eat, and then Rambo walks, once he gets to the other end of the town, he walks back into town looking for a place to eat, which is kind of crazy, you know, antagonizing the sheriff at the time. But anyway, so he ends up getting arrested. They take him in there and try to clean him with a water hose, fire hose. Cold water, no soap, you know, high pressure. It's really a cruel thing to do to somebody, but they did it. Then he ends up escaping there, and then they start chasing him down because he gets out. He goes out, he steals a motorcycle, goes to the hills, and then ends up crashing the motorcycle because he couldn't get it to go up the hill no more, and climbs up onto the hill and takes out 2 of the sheriffs, the searchers, with bungee sticks. Or a man trap. But he didn't set him to kill, he set him to wound, just to disable him so they couldn't follow him. So anyway, they chase him, they keep on chasing him. Once they get around the man traps and all that, they call in the National Guard to get this guy, and he eludes them for the longest time, and he ends up wanting to go. He ends up after he gets covered up, he ends up in a cave or old mine up on the hill. Then somewhere along the way, they spot him, or somebody spots him, or makes a mistake and gets spotted. Then they end up coming up there with everything they got after one guy. And then they blow the mine up, and they think he's dead, and then he ends up coming out the other side and destroys this little town that decided to hit him, and seriously hurts or destroys the sheriff that actually started the whole thing. And then they call it First Blood because the sheriff and the town drew first blood, and he got the last of the conversation on that one. It's a pretty good movie. Kind of like this type of movies. It's an action movie. They used military equipment. They blew up gas stations, blew up a cave. They had some comedy in this thing. It's a respectful movie for World War I veterans and World War II veterans. It's really a good POWs, motorcycles. They really did a pretty good job on this movie. Even today, it's one of the highest requested action movies to watch. And I heard a study from Amazon says they have to renew their copy every year or so because it's watched so much, and the digital place where they got it kept, or the disc where they got it kept on is getting wore out, so they have to put it in a different spot, renew the copy. And then they end up killing a guy in a helicopter and all kinds of fun stuff on this thing. Highly actionable movie. It's really interesting to watch. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat wondering what happens next. If Sylvester Rambo survives. And there's more of these to come, so we'll hear about them in the year. I think he did 4 more after this, right up till recent time. So it does a pretty good job. Hopefully you've stuck with me and through this whole thing, and you're watching the end of this movie. So we're gonna get the ship. Well, we got the doorbell, but I'm not gonna hit the doorbell. I should have done that at the beginning. And all these sounds that I'm playing with in these movies are just simply for me testing them and seeing if my setup will work to use a Stream Deck to recording. If it seems to be working, the last 3 or 4 movies, it seems to be working pretty good. Movie reviews seems to be doing pretty good. And this movie, I forgot to check that. All right, Rambo First Blood was released in 1982. What did I say? 83 or 84? No, 1982. And then who released it? It was released by Cholo Pictures. Now, it's not interesting. Okay, Onion Pictures, 20th Century Fox. They were all involved. This movie ran 83 minutes, and they spent $15 million to make it and made $125.2 million. Which is not bad. So they did a pretty good job on this movie. And the gun that he's holding in the picture, I don't know what to call it. Big one anyway. It's 50 caliber machine gun, I think. He fires it one-handed or two-handed, which, I've used those machine guns. No matter how big you are, even Arnold Schwarzenegger size, you can't do that. They just tend to want to rise unless they're bolted down to something. And they kick so hard, you're not going to be able to take that many hits all the time, but it's good for the movie. So we're not going to criticize it too bad. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, and we'll see you on the next video, whether it's tomorrow or next week, depending upon which system you're watching it on. So, see you later.